What did Jesus actually look like? Welcome back, friends. Now, let's be honest. When you picture Jesus in your mind, you probably see the classic American image. He is tall and slim, with flowing brown hair, Caucasian skin, blue eyes, and a perfectly groomed beard. He looks as if he possibly just left the local beauty salon. But here's the thing, that is probably not what he actually looked like. The fact of the matter is, the Bible never gives us a detailed physical description of Jesus during his earthly ministry. That is amazing, since we are able to read so many detailed descriptions of his teachings, his miracles, and his character. Nevertheless, God chose not to give us an artistic portrait of Jesus, and there's a powerful reason for that. Now, historically speaking, as a Jewish man living in 1st century Jerusalem, Jesus most likely looked very different from today's popular paintings. He would have had the darker skin tones, features, and the darker hair that was common to the people of his region. He probably dressed very simply, and he could blend in with the everyday crowds. The book of Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 2 said this about Jesus. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. In other words, there was nothing outwardly attractive about his looks. From God's plan, Jesus wasn't meant to influence people because of physical appearance. Instead, he wanted to attract people by the power of his words, his compassion, his holiness, and his authority as the Son of God. Nevertheless, as Christianity began to spread all over the world, every culture has basically recreated Jesus to look like them. European artists painted him to look European. African churches often picture him with African features, and Asian Christians sometimes portray him with Asian characteristics. But this is where God's wisdom is brilliant. He chose not to leave us any paintings, statues, or detailed physical descriptions of Jesus. Why? Because he knew exactly what would happen if he did. You see, we as human beings are obsessed with appearances. We create celebrities out of people just because they are handsome or beautiful. We judge others based on their looks before they even open their mouths. If we had an exact image of Jesus, we'd probably turn it into an idol, focusing more on his physical appearance than his spiritual message. Also, think about it this way. If someone only knew you from your social media profile picture, they might assume that they know you. But a single image of you could never capture your heart, your personality, or your story. In the same way, reducing Jesus to a single portrait would limit him in our minds. God, in his wisdom, kept Jesus' physical appearance from us so that we could seek Jesus with our heart, not with our eyesight. Remember when Jesus said to Thomas, one of his disciples, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." John 20:29. Jesus invites us to follow him by faith. A faith that looks past external appearances and embraces his spirit, his mission, his heart, his love. The most important lesson we must learn from all of this is that Christianity is not a white man's religion. Neither is it a black man's religion. It does not belong to any race or culture. But Jesus came and sacrificed himself for all nations. His mission wasn't about outward appearances, but about saving spiritually lost human beings from their sins. Today, even though we have never seen him, we can know what Jesus was like, because God has given us the Bible, which describes Jesus' character far more deeply than any statue or painting ever could. So, the real question is not about what Jesus looked like. The real question is whether we actually have a vibrant, powerful relationship with him, and whether we are becoming more like him in character, love, and purpose. From an eternal standpoint, everything depends on how we answer that question. Until next time, may you never stop truly living, loving, and learning. God bless you all.
May you walk in God's wisdom and live well.